Now briefly I'll tell you what are derivatives. डेरिवेटिव क्या होता है? सिंपल अगर मैं आपको बताऊं तो डेरिवेटिव ये होता है कि अगर एक स्टॉक है, अगर आपको स्टॉक को बाय करना है तो सिंपली आप स्टॉक को बाय कर सकते हो. डेरिवेटिव क्या होता है? अगर आपको स्टॉक, मतलब मान लीजिए स्टॉक का प्राइस है 100 रुपीज, एंड इफ यू वांट टू, एंड यू आर कॉन्फिडेंट कि स्टॉक प्राइस बढ़ेगा, एंड यू वांट टू पुट इन maybe 5 lakh rupees in that particular stock, and you don't have 5 lakh rupees, you just have 50,000 rupees, right? So डेरिवेटिव क्या करेगा? अगर आपको स्टॉक खरीदना होता तो यू नीड द एंटायर 5 लाख टू इन्वेस्ट इन दैट स्टॉक, राइट? यू नीड द एंटायर 5 लाख, तब आप 5 लाख का वो स्टॉक खरीद पाओगे. एंड इफ द स्टॉक अप्रिशिएट्स बाय 10%, यू गेट अ गेन ऑफ 50,000 रुपीज. तो डेरिवेटिव क्या होता है? डेरिवेटिव इज अ इंस्ट्रूमेंट वहां जहां पे आप एक सिंपल एक टोकन मनी देके, एक मार्जिन मनी देके आप इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हो. तो 5 लाख का एक्सपोजर यू कैन टेक जस्ट बाय एन अमाउंट ऑफ 50,000 रुपीज. तो आपने एक स्टॉक में 5 लाख का एक्सपोजर ले लिया जस्ट बाय पुटिंग 50,000 रुपीज. नाउ व्हाट विल हैपन इफ स्टॉक प्राइस गोज अप 10%? यू एंड अप, अगर स्टॉक प्राइस मान लीजिए एक महीने में डबल हो जाता है, यू एंड अप डबलिंग योर मनी इन 1 मंथ, राइट? आपको, आपने 50,000 ही लगाया, आपने तो पूरा 5 लाख नहीं दिया, आपने 50,000 ही दिया, बट आपका कैपिटल डबल हो गया. बट व्हाट इफ द स्टॉक प्राइस गोज डाउन बाय 10%? आपका वो 50,000 पूरा जीरो हो जाता है. तो दिस हाउ, मतलब इतना रिस्की है. तो इसीलिए आई टेल पीपल टू स्टे अवे फ्रॉम डेरिवेटिव्स. भले ही आपको कितना अट्रैक्टिव लगे, मे बी यू आर हियरिंग पीपल अराउंड यू मेकिंग lakhs and lakhs of money by investing in derivatives. I've seen people, and एक बार आप चालू करते हो ना, जॉर्ज सर, why I'm saying this, it's not a one of affair thing कि आप एक बार इन्वेस्ट करके छोड़ देते हो. It's एक बार आप चालू करते हो, when you start making money and even losing money, it becomes a habit. You continue to trade, and if you see at the end of every year, you will end up losing money every year. This is how, and irrespective of the market condition, I have, अगर हम मार्केट की बात करें, इक्विटी मार्केट की बात करें, तो लास्ट ईयर ऑब्वियसली कोई डेरिवेटिव में इन्वेस्ट किया होगा तो यू वुड फील दैट ही वुड हैव मेड लॉट ऑफ मनी, क्योंकि एक साल में निफ्टी ने फ्रॉम द लोज, द इक्विटी मार्केट हैज गिवन 70-80% रिटर्न. तो अगर हम डेरिवेटिव की बात करें तो अगर 10% एक्सपोजर लेके हम इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं, तो हमारा कैपिटल में 700-8% रिटर्न हमने बना लिया होता है. बट आई हैव सीन पीपल मेकिंग लॉट ऑफ मनी लास्ट ईयर, बट आई हैव सीन at the same time I've seen people losing money, और इतना कि लास्ट टाइम जितना कमाया था लास्ट ईयर में, उससे ज्यादा they have lost money this year. So right. I've seen people losing money every year on मतलब it's not a, मतलब कि ये नहीं है कि very few people are losing money. It's most of the people are losing money. These instruments are actually, अगर हम दूसरी तरह से देखें, and very funny is these instruments were designed to protect yourself from risk, and it has ended up becoming the most risky instruments.
Okay, I think we'll open up for questions.
Yeah,
we'll open for questions. So
right,
Manjima, are there any questions
yeah.
chat box?
Yeah, there are some, and there are quite a few raised hands.
Yeah, so maybe
I think the first person, yeah,
you could read some of the questions from the chat box.
Okay. So in the chat, we have a question from Sohlal Moria. How to choose profession fund? Who is profession fund manager? Who is best for us?
So as I said, when you set out and go on to choose a financial this thing manager or a fund manager for yourself, the first thing you need to take, मतलब एक फंड मैनेजर जब होता है तो उसके बहुत सारे फंड्स होते हैं जो वो मैनेज कर रहा है. मे बी अ पर्टिकुलर फंड मैनेजर, से मिस्टर XYZ, ही इज मैनेजिंग 4 or 5 डिफरेंट फंड्स. तो जस्ट डोंट सी अ पर्टिकुलर फंड कि एक फंड is performing well, you just invest in that particular fund. See all the funds of that fund manager. It obviously takes a lot of research. आपको research करना होगा. You have a look, and मतलब all the funds of that fund manager कि उसने last 5 years में that particular fund manager has he be able to generate consistent returns across all his funds. अगर वैसा fund manager आपको मिल जाए, then I think it's he will suit for your investments कि वो आपको consistent return दे. So don't just look at returns, look at consistent returns, and don't just look at one particular fund of a fund manager, look at all the funds which that particular fund manager is managing.
What's the best place to read about these fund managers? Where can we do the research?
So if you want to read about the fund manager, you can simply obviously Google and Wikipedia and other places. You'll find lots of information. You can also like read and view YouTube videos, particular fund manager also. But if you want to research on the funds that fund manager is managing, then the two best portals or the research platforms for that are Morningstar and Value Research. So Value Research and Morningstar, these are the two prominent platforms which are focused only on mutual funds. Their primary objective is to give you research on mutual funds. So you will find all kinds of data in terms of risk. मतलब आपको obviously you will have to read about a lot of jargons, मतलब financial jargons भी है यहाँ पे जहाँ पे you will have to know the financial ratios. But अगर आप नहीं आपको वो ratios नहीं भी पता and you don't have much information of them, still you can at least find कि fund manager ने last year कितना return दिया है, last 5 years में कितना return दिया है, maybe 1 year, 3 year, 5 year return, you can find out and take maybe compare all the funds उस fund manager के and then maybe understand by watching videos of that fund manager or reading about that fund manager maybe on Wikipedia and all to get an idea of how the fund manager is managing the investment. Because अब एक और important चीज मैं बता देता हूँ कि every mutual fund, कोई भी equity mutual fund हो, कोई भी debt mutual fund हो, has an investment objective. That investment objective has to be aligned with your financial goal. Obviously, you cannot invest in a particular place जहाँ पे the objective is not to generate long-term capital appreciation. अगर आप long term के लिए invest कर रहे हो, you want a fund manager who is investing for the long term. उसका idea ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि I invest in a place where I get maximum profit in 1 or 2 years. ऐसा fund manager है वो आपके financial goal से line नहीं हो रहा क्योंकि आप 1-2 साल के लिए नहीं invest कर रहे हो. You are investing for 10 years. So you need your fund manager, your investment objective of that fund to be aligned to your financial goal.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. What's the next question?
So we have a couple more. I'll just mute the participants. Yeah. So on chats, we have a question, a comment and a question from Najrul Islam. So he has said, I use thumb impression and most of the DP don't accept it as a valid signature. So please tell us some guidelines or circulars which empower us to open an account and manage our funds independently.
Yeah, this is a very big issue which I am facing also with some of my people. So the thing is, actually, I also took this up with SEBI also, that they are not the brokers or the financial institutions are not accepting thumb impressions on PAN cards as a proof, and not even accepting the thumb impression apart from like in place of signature. So this is the problem which I am facing. I'm also working on it. I don't have very I won't say that I have a solution till now, but I'm working on it, and I'm assured that make yourself assured that I'll have a solution very soon, so that you don't have any problem facing any you don't face any problem opening an account or demat account with a thumb impression.
No,
So,
opening a DMAC account is where the thumb impression is there. Now, if you want to launch into a mutual fund, the thumb impression should not be a problem, right? Or will it be
normally
a problem?
what the problem is not the mutual fund investment. Problem is when the PAN card has the thumb impression, some of the mutual funds doesn't accept, or KYC is not properly done with the thumb impression. But that can be managed and that can be handled. So for mutual funds, I can help you do that. I can help you invest in mutual funds. There is no problem. But opening a demat account is where I'm working on.
Okay. Manjima, next.
Yeah, I think we have quite a few raised hands, so we can take the questions one by one.
Okay.
Nitin Sharma, I'm going to unmute you. You can ask your question.
Hello, sir.
Hi,
Am I audible? Hello,
Yes, you are
sir. Yeah. Sir, I have some questions, 2 or 3 questions. Firstly, I want to know about the demat accounts which you are saying Zerodha and Upstocks, are they fully accessible? Or
Yeah, so Zerodha, what I haven't used it personally. I used it once long back. It was not accessible then, but nowadays, what people tell me, and I've spoken to lots of visually impaired people, is that the app is not very accessible. It's accessible to an extent, but there this thing online, the platform, the this thing their web browser is accessible, so you can through your computer and JAWS, it's accessible, so you can use Zerodha through your computer, but not very accessible. The mobile app is not very accessible, but I think the most accessible mobile app if you're looking for, which I have found out like using seven or eight of them, is Motilal Oswal. It's more, it's I would say approximately 95% accessible.
okay, okay. So one more question. Sir, there is a investment tool called SWP. Sir,
Yeah.
please tell me about this. I can't understand it for a long
So
time.
Nitin, do you know what is SIP?
Yeah, I know SIP lump sum, but I don't understand about this SWP specific.
So
This.
SIP and SWP are opposites. SIP and SWP, if you see, they are opposite. SIP क्या होता है? SIP is systematic investment plan where you invest a particular amount of money every month. Say 5,000 rupees if you are investing every month. So that is SIP. But when we talk about SWP, that's exactly reverse. SWP means systematic withdrawal plan. Suppose, let's take an example, you have accumulated 1 lakh rupees in your investment portfolio and you want a particular amount every month. So when you withdraw a particular amount, a fixed amount every month, say you want 5,000 every month. If you're withdrawing 5,000 every month, that's a SWP, withdrawing from your mutual fund portfolio systematically.
Okay, okay. It's withdrawing from mutual fund.
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. Sir, one more
SIP is
question.
also SIP is investment in mutual fund.
Yeah,
Systematic
it's
investment in mutual fund, and this is systematic withdrawal in mutual
withdrawal.
fund.
Okay, okay. Sir, I want to take some suggestion from you about if I got some lump sum amount which is not expected by me, like bonus or arrear. What should be the best strategy to invest or park?
So, as I said, first you need to identify your financial goals. Once you have identified your financial goals, once that is done, then obviously you're investing for your financial goals that you have started. But you can pump in some more money for those financial goals only. So don't invest randomly here and there. Even your bonus is also hard-earned money. It's not that it's given to you for free. So it's hard-earned money. So don't invest here and there just like that. You can pump your financial goal funds with these bonuses. So that's first step is identifying your financial goals, and every other step follows that. So एक बार आपका financial goals identify हो गया, उसके बाद आप डिसाइड कर सकते हो कि वो बोनस का आपको क्या करना है और आपको किस गोल के लिए उसको एलोकेट करना है.
Okay, okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we can move on to Madhu Singhal. Madhu, you have a question? I'm going to unmute you.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear
Yes.
you, Madhu. We can hear you.
Huh. Good evening, everyone. And I just would like to say that, Piyush, I really enjoyed your presentation because want to tell you, I am not a salaried person. Whatever money I have, I do invest like this only, and managing my daily, expenses. So you have told very, viably and very nicely all the points. So I want, if is there any book which we can read it, or you have something in written format, it will be a great idea if you can write all these things and put it together. Secondly, when you started your lecture, you were talking about some book. That book you must have read, or you were telling, I don't
Yes.
remember the
Yes.
name.
Start with Y.
So
Start with
if you
Y.
can tell me correctly the name, so I would like to
That
read.
book is called Starting with Why. That book is by Simon Sinek.
Simon Sinek.
Yes. Starting with Why.
Starting
Okay.
the name of the book is Starting with Why, and the author is Simon Sinek. How do you spell Sinek?
I think it's SYNC, if I'm not wrong. I'm not very sure about the spelling.
Okay. Anyway, I think we can search with Starting with Why. Okay.
That will be better,
You'll
I
find it.
think so.
Yeah, you'll find it out very easily.
Okay. So that is what I just wanted to say. And it is very important that we can get a good financial advisor, those who know about the daily market. Then it is easy for us. Otherwise, it is very difficult to manage this funds ourselves.
Yes, true. And I take your suggestion in terms of compiling all my this thing
Yes.
Into a particular written format so that everyone can go and read about it. So I'll take that initiative very soon.
And time to time, maybe, the things will change every year. So if you can
Yes.
give some more tips, it will be nice.
Sure. I'll do that. Time and time, actually, most of the things in terms of financial planning is static. It doesn't change much. Yes, obviously, my examples might change with time, but financial planning process, because I read books which maybe are written 30 years, 40 years back. In terms of equities, if you also see, which is the best book if you want to read about equities. Best book if you want to read about how to research on equities. So that book is The Intelligent Investor. It's a very famous book by Benjamin Graham.
Okay.
Benjamin Graham is the name of the author, and the name of the book is The Intelligent Investor. And that book will give you the entire thing because this Benjamin Graham is considered the guru of Warren Buffett.
Okay.
So,
Mr. George,
Yep.
can you write all these names and all and put it in the chat box, or you can send a mail to us?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Done.
I've noted the names. We'll
when
just,
you read,
I think
yeah.
a lot of people also want the name, number and details of Piyush. So I think we can send all of it in one email later
Okay,
on.
that's fine. Thank you,
Let's-
Piyush.
Yeah. So when you read about this book, The Intelligent Investor, you will the entire perception ki aisa soch ki investments is only for people who are with finance background and all those things will go away, because it's not very difficult to understand. As he said, ki it's not the very smartest of the people who make maximum money. It's the people.
Exactly.
It is the people who are disciplined, who are patient, and who have their ideas and have their conviction. Those are the people who make more money.
That's right. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Okay, so we have Dr. Syed Hussain. I'm going to unmute you. You could go ahead and ask your question, please.
Yeah. On the outset, I would like to thank IUA, Abraham, and the team for arranging all these meetings. It's a threefold thanks. Second would be this whole session was maximum in English. I was really happy and relieved for that. And the third one is for introducing such a like Rakesh Jajanwala officially challenged community to us. I am thankful for that. I have several questions. It's about his discretion to pick one or all. Yeah, I'll spell it out. The first one is I have recently read about system level investment or investor or investing system level, as in both environment, concern about environment and profit earning. What is the scope of it in India, or the activism based investment in an Indian context? This is my question.
Are you talking about active investments?
Activism, investors who lobby institutions like some organizations are investing in a bad sense, which is bad for the environment. So some people get into the board.
Yeah. I understand now. That's ESG.
Okay.
Environment, social, and governance. So basically, there are now ESG mutual funds also in India. So it has, as you said, it has a very big wide scope. It has been doing well. This segment has been doing well globally. It has recently been introduced. I think last year it was introduced, where only Tata had it before, but otherwise now other companies, other mutual funds are also getting it. So this means these fund managers would only invest in companies which are environmentally, socially, and have a governance, which means they are governed well. They have a good management which doesn't do any hiding in terms of like not disclosing facts about their earnings, not disclosing fact about their assets, just to misguide the investors. They are not doing that. So, and they are environmentally and socially also responsible. So, for example, I'll take an example of ITC. ITC is a company which is very well governed. It's socially but it is not socially very responsible in terms of it's in the business of selling cigarettes, right? It's the business of selling cigarettes, and
Yes.
cigarette is not good for us. At the same time, it's not good for the environment and the people around us. So the companies, these funds would not invest, though ITC is a very well managed, very highly profitable company, but ESG funds would not invest in ITC. It would rather invest in companies which are environmentally, socially responsible. That that could be a finance company, a bank which is not doing, which is well managed and is not causing any harm to the public, as well as not causing any harm to the environment.
Thank you. Thank you. My second question is about the foreign investment. What are the apps that I can use for foreign investments from India, NASDAQ or an accessible app?
You are saying you want an option where you can
application
in the foreign market.
Yes. Yeah, so, on my own, if possible, with an application like Zerodha or something.
Okay, got it. So yeah, on your own, but so there are now mutual funds which are investing in foreign funds, foreign portfolios also. So NASDAQ, if you want to invest in NASDAQ, Motilal Oswal has a fund, the Motilal Oswal NASDAQ fund. You can simply invest in that fund. So by investing in that fund, you get the return as per the NASDAQ movement. Obviously, NASDAQ movement you can track in various platforms like Money Control. Money Control is not that accessible, but you can simply Google and find out the NASDAQ, how the movement is and track. So when you want to invest in NASDAQ, you can simply invest in this fund. You will get the return same as how the NASDAQ movement is, but also at the same time you have to account for dollar movement also, because dollar, the NASDAQ obviously invests all the investments there are in dollars. Now, if the Indian rupee appreciates, Indian rupee abhi 74, Indian rupee is like hovering around maybe 74 or 75. Say it goes up to 80, right? That means Indian rupee is devalued and US dollar is appreciated. That means you will gain more on your US investment when you get that back to India, because earlier you used to get 75 rupees for a dollar. Now you're getting 80 rupees for $1. So, but now what happens if 75 goes to 70? Then even if NASDAQ makes a gain of 5% in, say 7-8% in 1 year, all of that gain would be taken away by the currency movement. So you have to take the currency effect also when you are investing in the foreign fund.
Okay. Thank you. So the last question is like the tax part. When I'm withdrawing the amount from equity, will the firm or the brokerage will do the business for me, like paying the tax, or I should properly mention it during the filing? How about the taxing?
So when we talk about tax, So when we talk about taxes, there are lots and lots of taxes actually. So there is a tax on brokerage, which is obviously charged by the broker itself, so you don't have to file that. There is a securities transaction tax which is charged. Then that is again already debited. When you sell the security, it's already debited, so you don't have to pay anything there. The only tax you have to pay is the long-term or the short-term capital gain arising out of the sale of stocks. So if you are selling a particular stock, say you have made a gain of 1,000 rupees in one particular stock and you have sold it. So equities have a short-term capital gain. If you are selling it within 1 year, that that means it's a short-term capital gain. If you're selling after 1 year, that means it's a long-term capital gain. So short-term capital gain, if you're selling within 1 year, that is 15% tax you have to pay. So out of that 1,000 rupees, 15%, that means 150 rupees will go in taxes, and you have to file it. It's not that it will be borne by the broker and broker will already charge it and give the remaining amount to you. You have to file it yourself. And when you talk about the long-term capital gain, after 1 year, if you're selling, up to 1 lakh rupees is exempt. Obviously, 1,000 is less than 1 lakh rupees. So up to a gain of 1 lakh rupees, this is not the capital, the gain. Up to a gain of 1 lakh rupees in one financial year is exempt from taxes. You don't have to pay any tax for that. But any gains over 1 lakh, 10% tax is there. But and this again, you have to file it.
Okay. So for I said 10 years, 10 lakhs. No.
Sorry?
If I'm investing for 10 years,
Yeah,
I said
10 years, anything more than 1 year is long-term capital gain, which is a gain of 1 lakh, over 1 lakh is 10% tax.
Okay.
Suppose you make a gain of 2 lakh rupees. So and you made an investment long back, maybe 50,000 you invested. Like if you invest 50,000 today and you are taking it out maybe 5 years down the line at a gain of maybe that stock has 4 times become 4 times to 2 lakh rupees. So you have made a gain of 1,50,000 on your investment. So you're from that 1,50,000, 1 lakh is exempt.
50,000.
Right.
Okay.
On that 50,000, you have to pay 10% tax, which is 5,000 rupees.
Okay, thank you so much. Last one is a request. Do you have any plans, or already do you have a channel, YouTube channel, so that we can subscribe, or even I would be happy to become a member, paid member. So that's my request.
Planning to launch that soon. Not have it currently, but if I have your details, I'll send an invite to you once I have that.
Definitely, thank you.
Yeah, Manjima,
I'm
next.
done.
Thank you.
Syed.
Thank you, Syed.
Yeah, thank you, Joe.
Manjima, who's next?
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Shahid from Kashmir, and
Yes.
I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, so
Yes, please go ahead.
okay, thank you. So the question is, if I have goal, I wanna study in US, I wanna pursue my graduation or post graduation.
Okay.
So I must have money or package. So can I manage the goal in one bank account, or should I have multiple bank accounts?
So so you can manage. Obviously, you can manage that goal with one bank account, but I don't think you have. The first thing is that good that you have identified the goal, but now you have to plan how much money would you need for that foreign education. Obviously, you might have to take up loan anyway, but how much would you have to bear from your pocket? So first you have to identify that. So and secondly, you have to identify, say that amount is say 25 lakh rupees or say 50 lakh rupees, whatever the amount may be, that you have to put from your own pocket. So now you have to find out, like, when are you planning to go abroad? When are you planning to study in US? Any particular time frame or a year which you are targeting?
Yeah, after 4 or 5 years.
Let's say 5 years. Let's take an example of 5 years. You want to go and have you identified how much money? Suppose what do you want to study over there?
I'm gonna do graduation or post graduation.
Graduation or post graduation. You first have to find out what is the cost of education there. For that particular, you have to first identify and boil down to maybe two or three things, or 2 or 3 particular subjects which you want to study. So once you find that out, you have to find out what is the cost of that education and how much loan can you get and how much you have to bear from your pocket. Once we have that number, then we can start planning for that starting from today. Maybe we can plan, saying how much amount which will we need to invest every month or every quarter or whatever maybe the time, and to get that return, to get that amount at the end of 5 years.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you. Who's this?
Yeah, this is Fayaz calling, sir.
Yes, Fayaz, go ahead.
Yeah. So my question was like as Piyush sir talk about right now he talked about SIP,
Yeah.
right? So this SIP amount can be decided by our own self, or like it will be according to company's policy where we are investing.
Okay, good question. So companies' policies are very flexible, to be honest. So you have to decide how much you want to invest. Company will obviously, any mutual fund will fit into your plan.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about any thing in terms of policy or such hurdles. You don't have to worry about. You just need to plan and identify your financial goals and see how much you would need to invest every month, and mutual fund will fit into that. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, I think Fayaz will also probably want to know what is the minimum that every month you might.
Yes, that's actually that's what I was about to
Yeah,
ask.
so minimum for some funds is now even 100 rupees. So from 100 to 500 to 1000. So 100 to 5000 is the range of the minimum investment across funds.
Right. So yeah, this was
This
my
is
answer.
I'm talking about a monthly SIP.
Right. And the second question is, could you just repeat once those accessible apps in terms of using all these things? Yeah.
Surely. Yeah. So those accessible apps are, first is Motilal Oswal Securities.
Right.
The name of the app, I'll tell you the name of the app also. The name of the app is MO Investor. M for Mumbai.
Okay.
O for Orange.
All right.
Investor.
Fine. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. So this answers my question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hello.
I think
Hello.
we have Suraj.
Yes. Hello, ma'am.
Suraj, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, thank you so much. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, first of all, I want to thank the IWA team for organizing this. So I'll quickly come to my question. Like, I have two quick questions. The first one is, let's say I have money idle in my bank account. So FD is not giving me much. It has reduced even to less than 5%. So there are these options in my payment apps like PhonePe and Google Pay of liquid funds and digital gold, buying digital gold and liquid funds. So how viable are those options? Should I be taking a risk in investing on those things? Or if you could shed some light on that.
Yeah. So firstly, if you want to set aside some money and keep that money aside for your emergency fund, then that is where you need the liquid fund. For those, you can invest in liquid funds through these PhonePe and other apps which you were talking about. So that is fine. But otherwise, if you're talking about digital gold, and as I said, don't randomly invest here and there. First, see that whether those investments fit into your financial goal. If they do, then invest in there. Just don't
Actually, I'm planning
invest
for short term. Like for long term, I have invested in equity through mutual funds. So for short term, I'm thinking to invest somewhere. So is debt a better option, or?
Yeah, that is the best option. Actually, don't invest in gold for the short term, because I'll tell you why. Because if you see gold is suddenly getting attraction across the board because it has rallied a lot in last 1 year. That is why people are excited and want to buy gold. But if you see the 5-year to 7-year return just before it started rallying, the return is 0 to negative.
Okay.
Just about 0, if you say. So you won't want 0 for your returns for your investments, or negative returns for your investment at the end of say 1 year or 2 years if you are investing for short term. So that is why I say for short term you need stability. You don't need volatility. So for stability you have to invest in debt.
Okay. So just one quick thing. So like I want to invest for 2 years. My short term goal is for 2 years. So getting into debt mutual fund, is it risky? Will I get my premium, the amount that I've set aside, or can it be negative as well? So if you could tell me about it.
So risk is very subjective here. So it's obviously it has an element of risk. It's lower than, so it's slightly, I would say, not I won't say it's higher, but because even banks nowadays can fail. So it's equivalent to doing a fixed deposits. Obviously, you won't end up losing all your, because what happens is when you do invest in debt mutual fund, they don't give money to one particular company. They give
Okay.
they give it across 50-60 different companies. Okay. So now if one company fail, you might lose 2% of your capital. Right?
Okay.
Because they are putting 2% in one company. That is the worst case scenario. Normally that doesn't happen if you identify good funds. So what are good funds? What do I mean by good funds? Good funds are those funds which are investing in AA and AAA rated securities. You can easily find that out in value research. They give
Okay.
data how much they are investing in AA, AAA. These ratings actually tell you the higher the rating, AAA is the highest rating, the higher the rating, better the company is in terms of paying off its debt on time, and the company balance sheet and financials are also sound. So if your all your money, all the money which fund manager are investing across different companies are in AAA and AA, chances
Okay.
are very, very high that you won't lose any money.
Okay. Okay.
And even if you
So-
do, it won't be more than 2-3%. And
Okay.
gain is slightly on a higher side compared to a fixed deposit. At the same time, if you're investing for 3 years, it's tax efficient also.
Okay. Okay. So I should go for a lump sum or a SIP in debt mutual fund?
Depends on your goal. If your goal is short term, say 2 years.
Short term.
2 years, right?
Yes.
So if you want to invest, you can do both. There's no problem. You can do both. You can invest through, if you want to keep, say you have a goal which is 2 years down the line and you want to keep aside a fund every month. If you want to keep investing every month to maybe achieve at a target amount after 2 years, you can do an SIP also. There's no problem.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Those answers my
Yes.
question.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Hello, sir.
I think, please wait your turn. I think Munir can go next. He has had his hand up for a raise for a long time. Munir? Hello, Munir. You can go ahead with your question.
Hello.
Yeah, Munir. Please ask your
This
question.
is Munir. My question
hi,
is
Munir.
to sir. I'm having account with Religare Demat account, but they are saying they are not means we cannot get a mutual fund in that Religare. And second question is about the tax saving. I mean, investing in LIC and this PPF and all, but then also my TF is getting cut. So how we can do that?
Yeah. So coming to your first question first. So Religare Security is not offering mutual funds in their app. Could be the case. Nowadays, the companies which are more user friendly and more towards these mobile apps, they market these mobile apps and all, like Zerodha, Upstocks, Motilal. These do mutual funds through the mobile app, but Religare maybe they are not doing. So it could be the case. So better for you is if possible you can shift to a mobile app which has all the features and will enable you to invest in mutual funds also. And one more thing I would like to point out here is, for investing in mutual funds, it's not that you need a Demat account. Even if you don't have a Demat account, open a Demat account only if you can open a Demat account for mutual funds also. But I would not recommend you to open a Demat account for mutual funds, because mutual funds have annual maintenance charges. Demat accounts have annual maintenance charges. And just for mutual funds, no point giving that annual maintenance charges if you're not buying direct stocks, direct equity, or any other security where Demat account is mandatory. So if you're not doing that, just invest in mutual funds in the non-Demat mode. This is the second thing. And coming to your other question, you said you're investing in LIC policies and some PPF, but you are not getting tax benefit. So when you file your taxes yourself, or taking a help of a chartered accountant, obviously you get a benefit of up to 1,50,000 in a financial year when you invest in instruments like LIC or any other insurance policy, PPF. Even there is
housing loan.
Here housing loan. And here again, I would like to highlight another thing. So even by investing in mutual fund, you can get tax benefit under Section 80C, which has a maximum eligibility of 1.5 lakhs. So there is a specific mutual fund scheme for your tax saving investment, which is called ELSS, or Equity Linked Saving Scheme. So if you invest in ELSS equity mutual fund, you get a tax benefit, but only catch is there is a lock-in of 3 years.
Okay.
Lock-in of 3 years,
ELS.
which means ELSS, Equity Linked Saving Scheme.
ELSS. Okay,
Yes.
okay, okay.
So which means
Uh-huh.
in any case, you won't be able to withdraw that money before 3 years.
Okay, and you said we can invest through non-demat mode, but I one fellow I told, but he said we required check and all. So means because as a visually impaired, we cannot. Means I cannot sign, so I cannot give the check. So how we
Yeah,
can
I
do that?
understand. So basically, it's the practices may differ from company to company, but I'm just telling you the general principle, general policies followed by the Security and Exchange Board of India, SEBI. SEBI says there is no requirement of mutual demat account for mutual funds, and it might or might not be followed by some other institutions which may ask you to mandatorily open a demat account for their mutual fund investments and may ask for a check for investment also. But normally, as I can talk about for my practice, and I can talk about myself, that I don't require, for my investors investing in mutual funds, I don't require any investment through check or opening a demat account. It's a very hassle-free process where you can invest directly without any extra annual maintenance charges to give, and plus you get a portal to track your investment and a place to invest also.
So how much you will charge for if you are investing through
I think maybe this part of the discussion you can take it offline.
Fine.
That would be better.
Yeah. So somebody else can ask the question. Thank you, Munir.
Okay, I think Sarvanan, you can go next. Please unmute yourself.
Hello, Jas sir. Thanks for providing this golden opportunity to have a discussion regarding the financial and investments.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah, please go ahead.
Sir, I want to know that please, sir, I want to know, you have mentioned that SIP, MF and dead MF. In all these cases, in where are all that demat and trading account requires, and where are all it's not required?
Okay, so I'll tell you. So for demat account, first I'll tell you for where are the places if you invest demat account is required.
Yes,
so demat account is required if you want to invest in stocks directly. Suppose you want to buy a Reliance stock you want to buy, or you want to buy Tata Motors, then you require a demat account for sure. Without demat account, that cannot be done. Earlier, even physical certificates were issued earlier when you used to buy shares. At that time, it was not required, but now every transaction has to go through the digital mode through demat, all the stocks. So any stock you buy, demat account is required. Any bonds, I don't think is very relevant because those are more like HNI and institutional products. So anyway, those also require demat accounts. But otherwise, there is one other investment option which is called non-convertible debentures, NCDs. It's a debt investment. So as I said, if you invest in debt mutual funds, they invest in companies directly, where they give fixed interest to the mutual fund company, and in turn it gives you return in form of interest. But if you want to invest in these companies directly, you want to invest in their debt directly, they will pay you interest directly. But for that also you need a demat account. So for all your direct investments where you are not taking any route through mutual funds, you're directly investing in equities or bonds or NCDs, their demat account is required. For mutual funds, for insurance, these places demat account is not required.
Trading account?
Sorry?
Trading account?
Trading
account. As you told, for trading purpose only, the trading.
You're obviously trading in stocks, right? You mean trading in stocks?
Yes.
Yeah, trading in stocks, demat account is required. Any place where you need to buy or sell stocks, their demat account is required.
Sir, which is better for a starter? Is it SIP or MF or dead MF?
For better for what?
Starter, that is a beginner. As a beginner,
okay,
I'm having some amount. That is the thing. I want to start that thing. Which will be the best option, better option?
If you take my word, I think the best option for a starter or a beginner is mutual funds, definitely. Based on your financial goals, it's just that you have to worry about your financial goals and plan and have a plan for your financial goals, and your mutual fund investments will take care of the rest. So better and the best way to invest for all of us is through mutual funds rather than investing in equities directly. Obviously, for I keeping a fair disclosure, I also have investments in equities myself, also direct investments, but that takes a lot of research, it's my passion, that's why I do it. So it actually, if you have time, discipline, if you have patience, if you have that knack of investing directly, if you can give time for research and studying, so then you can invest in equities directly. But for a beginner, I would say first invest through mutual.
There are a lot of companies offering MF mutual funds. In that, which will be the better instrument to select the best MF?
So as I said, you can take a help of a financial advisor or do your research. You do your homework yourself through these online portals which I mentioned, like Value Research and Morningstar, where you can compare the different mutual funds, and based on, because it's very difficult to give a particular fund, to pick a particular fund for without knowing all your details or your background and your financial goals. So just to state this, you can just compare the mutual funds on these online platforms and take an investment decision.
Yeah, and I think for specifics, I think you will probably maybe take the discussion offline so that.
Sir, one question, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, in case of mutual funds, is there any time limit? We have to maintain the amount for this much. In case of emergency, we can withdraw the amount.
Yeah, I got your question.
Lock-in time. Is there any lock-in time?
Yeah. So as I said, only for ELSS, equity linked savings scheme, where you get a tax benefit, there is a 3-year lock-in. Otherwise, there is no lock-in in other funds. There might be an exit charge. That also depends and varies from fund to fund. There is normally an exit charge of 1%. If you talk about equity mutual funds, exit charge is 1% if you withdraw within 1 year. But if you withdraw anything beyond 1 year, you don't have to pay any exit charge. But there is no lock-in as such. Apart from
within 1 year means 1%. Apart from 1 year means there is no charges.
No charges. This is the regular thing. There might be funds which doesn't have any exit charge from the day one. Even if you invest today and withdraw after 1 week, you don't have to pay exit charge. There are funds like that also, and there are funds, debt mutual funds, which have exit charge way up to 3 years. So it depends on fund to fund.
Yeah, but
the regular normal practice is 1% within 1 year. This is the probable thing which is there with, I think, more than 70% of the funds have this policy.
And another one question, sir. Sir, as another person told, FD rate of interest has been reduced less than 5%. As the things is going on, MF is the better option, as you told. What might be the average rate of interest, that is returns we can expect from MF approximately?
So depending on the fund to fund, the debt returns are anywhere between 4 to 8.5%, I would say. Even 9%, but those are risky funds. I would say the funds which you could take a look on is the returns varies from 4 to 8%.
Sir,
higher the return, higher the risk, obviously.
Okay, sir. Anyhow, you are giving guidance, sir. Please share your number and mail ID, sir. We are ready to, that is a thing, step up along with you, sir. Because as a beginner or a starter, we can't grow by ourselves. If you are, with your guidance, we can grow ourselves also. Please provide your guidance also in all the situations.
Yeah, sure. I'll be happy to connect.
Yes. Just.
Sure. Thank you.
Thanks, Saravanan. We will share all the details on email with all of you. A lot of you are asking in the chat box as well for Piyush's details. We will share it with you over email after the session. We'll do it later. Sir, should we move on? We have 3 more hands raised.
Yeah. I think we won't take more than 3 questions now because it's already
Okay.
close to 7.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So next is Yash Seema. You can unmute yourself and ask your question, please. Yash Seema.
Hi.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yes. Hi, Piyush. It was a great session, first of all. My question was, what is actually the minimum amount you should get invested for debt mutual funds? That is my first question.
So yeah, you can start investing with even 500 rupees. As I said, you can start small. Don't obviously it's very difficult to start big and invest because it's a new thing for you. It's important that you either take a help of a financial advisor, but if you're investing yourself, start small, and you can gradually build it on, gradually invest more. But 500 is the amount which you can start with.
Okay, the minimum amount. Okay, the second and last question, which is that if I have opened my Demat account from another broker or like another company or like kind of, but now the thing is that their application or like kind of which is not accessible and which you suggested, right? So can I log in from like that kind of, or should I open like a Demat account from their company only?
So as I said, if you want to buy stocks if you want to buy stocks, then Demat account is required. So then you can obviously, if you are finding that the app which you are using, the broker's app which you are using is not accessible, you can shift to an accessible app. Definitely you can do that. Only then will you able to trade on the accessible app. Without opening an account, you won't be able to trade or invest. So
okay, so I have to shift that my account to accessible application, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
So for that reason, what is the procedure? Just can you focus on that?
Yeah, I'll tell you very briefly. So there is a form called Demat closure cum transfer form, which you can take it from your existing broker. Actually, I'll tell you step by step. First, open an account with the new broker, where you see the app is accessible. Once the account is opened, the previous broker, the broker which you already have account with now, you just ask for a Demat closure cum transfer form. So once you have that form, you just have to fill in the details of your new broker, where you want all the existing stocks which you have in your existing with your existing broker. You will have to fill the details of your new broker, and all your stocks will be transferred. And then once the stocks since it's a closure cum transfer form, your stocks and all securities will be transferred. Even if you have mutual funds in your this broker with this broker, that will also be transferred, and your existing Demat account will be closed.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Next in line is Pratham Kumar Singh. Pratham, you can unmute yourself and ask your question, please.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, sir. My question is that ये जो apps होती हैं Kuvera and Grow app, तो ये क्या accessible है mutual funds and stock में invest करने के लिए?
Yeah, honestly, I haven't used those apps, but I've seen. If you want, I can take a feedback from few visually impaired people who are using it. Honestly, I haven't used those apps, Kuvera and Grow, which you're talking about. Those should be accessible to an extent for sure, because they are only digital. They're only digital. They obviously would invest in their platforms just like Zerodha and Upstocks. So should be accessible, but not very sure.
Okay. And sir, my second last question. Like they say nowadays there is an alternative to stock market investment during this IPL time, fantasy cricket. So how it is reliable? This thing, how is reliable?
That is again not investment. That is gambling. You can do that. Actually, you can do that. There is no problem. I'm not against gambling, but if you're doing it if you're doing just for entertainment, that is fine. There's no problem with that. But otherwise, you cannot put in You cannot put in 50,000 betting on one company or betting on a set of players, because it's just gambling. You obviously don't know which player will click on that particular day.
And when they are announcing it, they are saying you're doing it at your own risk.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. And sir, last question. Sorry, what is the future of Bitcoin in India? Some news reports are coming that the government is planning to ban the Bitcoin, but Tesla is now accepting payments through Bitcoin. So I want to know about the Bitcoin.
Yes. Tesla has given a statement where the company says that it will soon start accepting payments through Bitcoins. Difficult question to answer, but yeah, actually Bitcoin has now emerged as a alternative asset where one can invest. You can invest, but don't put more money. Just betting on something. Obviously, it's not any other thing. It's now companies like Tesla and people like Elon Musk are investing. So it's not just other thing. It might be the future, but obviously you're betting on something. So you can have a small position or a small investment there, but don't put in more money. Like, don't put in a lot of money, because it doesn't have any underlying asset. Gold has an underlying asset. If you're buying debt, obviously your company has to repay you. If you are investing in equity, you are the owner of the company, so obviously you have that ownership in the company. But here there is no underlying thing, so it can go to zero also. Have this in your mind. If you're taking a risk, at least be prepared for the downside also.
Right. Pratham has muted himself. Okay, there he is.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Pratham. The next person, I think, is Motorola One Fusion. Please unmute yourself and also introduce yourself. Motorola One Fusion. You have your hand raised here.
Yes. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hello. Yes, sir. Ghanshyam here. पहले तो I like to thank IWAY to start this type of meeting. Okay. So मेरे short question ये है. Okay. मेरा पहला question ये है कि SIP हमें कितने साल के लिए करना चाहिए minimum? कितने साल के लिए करें तो हमारे लिए profit हो सकता है?
Why don't you ask अपना पूरा क्वेश्चन आप पूछ लीजिए, उसके बाद वो जवाब दे देंगे.
ओके, मेरा पहला क्वेश्चन ये है कि SIP हमें कितने साल के लिए करना चाहिए कि जो हमारे लिए अच्छा हो. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है कि अभी मैंने SIP करवाया तो वहां पर अब इक्विटी और ये नहीं बता रहा है, वो लोग फ्लेक्सी बता रहा है. ओके, तो उसमें ये है कि
is it flexi cap?
हाँ, मतलब कि SIP हम करवाने गए ना, तो हम लोग वहां पर इक्विटी और स्मॉल कैप लार्ज कैप देख रहे थे, लेकिन अब वो नहीं रहा. इक्विटी की जगह वो फ्लेक्सी कैप बता रहा है. तो उसमें हम वो बड़ा इक्विटी के लिए जा सकते हैं. लाइक आप कह सकते हैं कि 150,000 60,000 ऐसा कुछ आगे कर सकते हैं क्या? रिस्क रहेगा क्या उसमें?
ओके, तो जैसे मैंने कहा था कि आपका पहला क्वेश्चन था कि SIP आपको कितना टाइम के लिए करना चाहिए. तो SIP कितना टाइम के लिए करना चाहिए, वो जैसे मैंने कहा आपके फाइनेंशियल गोल पे डिपेंड करता है. आप 6 महीने के लिए भी कर सकते हो, आप 10 साल के लिए भी कर सकते हो, अपने लाइफ टाइम के लिए भी कर सकते हो, अपने रिटायरमेंट के लिए. अगर आपका रिटायरमेंट मान लीजिए किसी का पर्सन 30 ईयर ओल्ड, अगर वो 30 साल बाद रिटायरमेंट का सोच रहा है 60 के लिए, वो तो 30 साल के लिए भी SIP कर सकता है. तो इट्स जस्ट कि आपका फाइनेंशियल गोल क्या है, उसके बेसिस पे आप अपना SIP कितना टाइम के लिए करना है वो डिसीजन आप ले सकते हो. और आपका सेकंड क्वेश्चन जो था कि कितना आपने कहा था कि आपका एक इन्वेस्टमेंट है फ्लेक्सी कैप में. तो फ्लेक्सी कैप इक्विटी ही होता है. फ्लेक्सी कैप मतलब जैसे आपने कहा, आपको थोड़ा सा शायद आइडिया है, नॉलेज है कि लार्ज कैप, मिड कैप, स्मॉल कैप क्या होता है. लार्ज कैप मतलब बड़े कंपनीज, मिड कैप मतलब जो बीच वाली कंपनी जो उतने बड़े नहीं है पर छोटे भी नहीं है. दे आर डिसेंट, मतलब अच्छे साइज की कंपनी, बट ऑब्वियसली टाटा बिरला और रिलायंस नहीं है. और तीसरा है स्मॉल कैप, जो छोटे कंपनी है, जो उभरते हुए कंपनीज है, जो अभी अपना नाम उतना नहीं बना पाए हैं, बट ऑब्वियसली मतलब वो प्रॉमिसिंग है और हो सकता है फ्यूचर अच्छा हो सकता है उनके लिए. तो अब जो जितना आप छोटे कंपनी में इन्वेस्ट करते हैं उतना रिस्क आपके लिए बढ़ता है, उतना रिटर्न का चांसेस भी बढ़ता है, क्योंकि छोटी कंपनी जल्दी ग्रो कर सकती है क्योंकि उनके पास कोई वैसा, मतलब बड़ी कंपनी क्या ऑलरेडी इतनी बड़ी उसमें काम करी, इतनी बड़ी प्रॉफिट्स बना रही है, उसके लिए वहां से ग्रो करना बहुत डिफिकल्ट है। छोटी कंपनी तो अपने एक साल में प्रॉफिट डबल भी कर सकती है, जो बड़ी कंपनी नहीं कर पाती है, यूजुअली नहीं कर पाती है। तो अब हमें छोटी कंपनी में इन्वेस्ट करना है, बड़ी कंपनी में इन्वेस्ट करना है, ये डिसीजन हमें ये लेना है कि हमें कितना रिस्क लेना है। जितनी छोटी कंपनी में इन्वेस्ट करें उतना रिस्क है। अगर हमें स्टेबल रिटर्न चाहिए और डिसेंट रिटर्न चाहिए विच इज वे बेटर देन फिक्स्ड डिपॉजिट्स, तो हम लार्ज कैप इक्विटी फंड्स में आराम से हम निवेश कर सकते हैं, इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं। और फ्लेक्सी कैप, अब जहाँ पे आप इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो, वो इन तीनों का मिक्सचर है, वो लार्ज कैप, मिड कैप और स्मॉल कैप का मिक्सचर है। दैट इज व्हाई इट्स कॉल्ड फ्लेक्सी कैप। और फ्लेक्सी कैप इसलिए बोला जाता है कि वो ऐसा नहीं है कि लार्ज कैप, मिड कैप, स्मॉल कैप में उसको बराबर रखना है, वो फंड मैनेजर का डिसीजन है कि उसको कहाँ पे इन्वेस्ट करना है। वो कभी डिपेंडिंग ऑन द मार्केट कंडीशन स्मॉल कैप में ज्यादा इन्वेस्ट कर सकता है कि उसको लगता है कि स्मॉल कैप के स्टॉक्स बहुत गिरे हुए हैं, और जब उनको लगता है कि मार्केट उतना स्टेबल नहीं है तो वो लार्ज कैप में इन्वेस्ट कर सकता है, क्योंकि लार्ज कैप जब मार्केट गिरता है तो लार्ज कैप वाले स्टॉक्स जो बड़ी कंपनीज है वो कम गिरते हैं और छोटे कंपनी ज्यादा गिरते हैं। तो फ्लेक्सी कैप होता है कि वो कहीं भी इन्वेस्ट कर सकता है बेसिकली, और अपना एलोकेशन वो तीनों के बीच में करता है। और अब आपने कहा 50,000 इन्वेस्ट करना है तो रिस्क है कि नहीं आपके लिए। अगर आपके पास 10 साल है इन्वेस्ट करने के लिए तो कोई रिस्क नहीं है। अगर आपके पास 2 साल 3 साल है तो बहुत रिस्क है।
Okay, okay, yes.
Okay,
Okay, sir. So much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ghanshyam.
There's a repeated question
Can I ask a
in the
question?
chat box. Please, wait your turns.
Any more raised hands apart from?
Just one raised hand from Tinku Singh.
Yeah,
but
let him ask.
there is. Okay.
Let him ask. Let him ask. Let the last two questions be asked. I think Tinku Singh followed by Siddharth. Siddharth, right?
Yeah, Siddharth.
Yeah. Okay.
Hi, Tinku. You can unmute yourself and ask your question, please.
I'm audible.
Yes, you are audible.
मेरा क्वेश्चन ए में अपन मैं डिस्कनेक्ट हो रहा था। मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि डायरेक्टली हम कैसे इन्वेस्ट करते हैं फॉरेन मार्केट में। फॉर एग्जांपल न्यूयॉर्क स्टॉक एक्सचेंज में डायरेक्टली कैसे इन्वेस्ट किया जा सकता है, नॉट बाय म्यूचुअल फंड, नॉट बाय मोतिलाल ओसवाल, बट डायरेक्टली। फॉर एग्जांपल टेस्ला के शेयर यदि हमें परचेज करना हो तो कैसे हो सकता है।
So his question, if I understood right, he's saying if he wants to invest in the foreign companies directly, not through mutual funds or through Motilal Oswal apps or something, if he has to invest directly, how does he go about it? Is that correct, Tinku? Yeah.
First of all, if you want to invest in directly, even in Indian stocks, you will have to open a demat account, and which has to be done with a broker like Motilal Oswal. It can be Motilal Oswal, it can be Zerodha, it can be Upstocks, it can be angel broking. But for Indian stocks also you have to do. Leave out Tesla. For Indian stocks also you have to open a demat account. So now coming to Tesla, if you want to invest directly, not through mutual funds, if you want to invest by Tesla shares basically, then you have to basically get in touch with brokers who have tie up with a foreign broker, like Motilal Oswal has. I believe, as far as I understand, ICICI Securities has, and Edelweiss is in process of having that tie up. So the brokers who have tie up with the foreign broker will help you open an account, and you can first, the process is first your money, your Indian currency will be changed to US dollar. That has to be done. Once you have the US dollars in your account, that is where you can invest in Tesla shares directly.
Are there any government rules on this?
No, government rules are there, but that is limit is way beyond what we could invest, because I think it's 5 crore or something.
Oh, okay, that's the ceiling.
Yeah.
Okay, Siddharth, did you have a question? You can please unmute yourself.
Alt A.
Siddharth. Hi, Siddharth, did you have a question? Please unmute yourself and ask. Okay, he's not responding. There's a message in the chat box repeatedly from Tenzin. Tenzin has been asking, sir, please suggest 2 to 3 tax saving funds
Will I take that
to
question?
invest. Please suggest 2 to 3 tax saving funds to invest. What about Canara? Canara Robeco tax
Yeah,
saver.
I get it.
That's what he's written. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, Tenzin, that's a good option. Canara Robeco tax saver is a good option. Apart from that, you can have a look at Mirai Asset tax saver. That's another good option. And IDFC tax advantage. So these 3 funds are decent according to me. Canara Robeco tax saver, Mirai Asset tax saver, and IDFC tax advantage.
Okay. We have one hand raised, Akash Gupta. Should we take this one, sir?
Yeah, please.
Am I audible?
Okay.
Yes,
Am
you
I-
are.
Yeah. Thank you, sir, for opportunity. सर मेरा एक क्वेश्चन था, एक्सचेंज ट्रेडेड फंड्स क्या होते हैं और एक ये गोल्ड ईटीएफ क्या होते हैं सर, प्लीज थोड़ा ब्रीफ में बताएंगे।
तो ETF का फुल फॉर्म ही एक्सचेंज ट्रेडेड फंड है। तो बेसिकली अब एक्सचेंज ट्रेडेड फंड अलग अलग टाइप के होते हैं। जैसे गोल्ड का एक्सचेंज ट्रेडेड फंड बेसिकली क्या होता है कि आप गोल्ड बाई नहीं कर रहे हो, आप गोल्ड को मिरर करने वाला एक फंड बाई कर रहे हो जो गोल्ड के प्राइस के हिसाब से चलेगा। गोल्ड अगर एक साल में 10% का बढ़त देता है तो वो आपको फंड भी 10% ग्रो करेगा। दिस इज गोल्ड ETF एंड एक्सचेंज ट्रेडेड फंड्स आर वेरी पॉपुलर इन इक्विटीज ऑल्सो। मतलब इक्विटी में भी एक्सचेंज ट्रेडेड फंड है। आपने निफ्टी सुना है? निफ्टी क्या होता है?
यस सर।
यस। तो अब आपको निफ्टी में इन्वेस्ट करना है तो कोई भी ऐसा, निफ्टी इज बेसिकली अ पैसिव फंड जहाँ पे कोई फंड मैनेजर नहीं होता ऑब्वियसली, बिकॉज निफ्टी तो एक सेट ऑफ 50 स्टॉक्स है उसके अंदर, वो उसके हिसाब से ही निफ्टी मूव करता है। तो देयर इज अ बास्केट ऑफ 50 स्टॉक्स जिसके हिसाब से निफ्टी मूव करता है। तो अगर आपको ऐसे फंड में इन्वेस्ट करना है जहाँ पे कोई फंड मैनेजर नहीं है, जिसमें दीज आर कॉल्ड पैसिवली मैनेज्ड फंड्स, देयर आर नो एक्टिव फंड मैनेजर, तो यू कैन इन्वेस्ट इन ETF। दीज आर ETFs जहाँ पे कोई फंड मैनेजर नहीं होता। दीज आर एक्सचेंज ट्रेडेड, मतलब यहाँ पे एक्सचेंज में स्टॉक एक्सचेंज में ट्रेडिंग होता है एंड देयर इज नो फंड मैनेजर एज सच। एंड बेसिकली अभी ये पॉपुलर क्यों हुआ है? बिकॉज द फंड मैनेजर्स, द एक्टिव फंड मैनेजर, मोस्ट ऑफ देम आर नॉट एबल टू गिव बेटर रिटर्न्स। अर्लियर पहले क्या होता था, वो लोग फंड मैनेजर्स निफ्टी से ज्यादा अच्छा रिटर्न देते थे तो लोग फंड्स में ज्यादा इन्वेस्ट करना प्रेफर करते थे। बट अब क्या हो रहा है कि दीज निफ्टी अब फंड मैनेजर के रिटर्न को बीट कर रहा है, निफ्टी फंड मैनेजर के रिटर्न को से ज्यादा रिटर्न दे रहा है। तो लोग ये सोच रहे हैं कि ये हम फंड मैनेजर के फंड में क्यों इन्वेस्ट करें, हम सीधा निफ्टी वाले फंड में इन्वेस्ट करते हैं क्योंकि इसका कॉस्ट भी कम होता है। क्योंकि जब एक्टिव फंड मैनेजर रहता है तो उसका फंड में आपका इन्वेस्टमेंट का कॉस्ट भी बढ़ जाता है, और पैसिवली फंड मैनेज रहता है जैसे निफ्टी वाला फंड हो गया या सेंसेक्स फंड हो गया, तो वहाँ पे फंड मैनेजर नहीं होता तो कॉस्ट भी कम होता है और रिटर्न्स बेटर हो, तो माइट एज वेल इन्वेस्ट इन दोज ETFs. दैट इज व्हाट द रैशनल इज। बट my say is you should invest in both. You should invest in passively managed funds also and actively managed funds also. You should identify good fund manager जो आपको लगता है कि passively managed fund से better return देंगे।
ओके सर, ओके,
थैंक यू।
एक सिंपल सा क्वेश्चन था, आपने स्टार्टिंग में सर कुछ बताया था कि कुछ ई बुक्स मैं आपको सजेस्ट करूंगा इन्वेस्टमेंट के लिए, अगर आप वो नाम बताना चाहें तो सर।
हाँ, एक बुक जैसे मैंने बताया था, द इंटेलिजेंट इन्वेस्टर। अगर आपको स्टॉक्स में इन्वेस्ट करना है, आई थिंक इससे बेटर बुक नहीं है। एक और बुक है सिक्योरिटी एनालिसिस। ये दो बुक आप डेफिनेटली।
सिक्योरिटी एनालिसिस के ऑथर कौन है सर?
बेंजामिन ग्रेहम।
ओके, थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू।
तो ये दो बुक मैं डेफिनेटली आपको रेकमेंड करूंगा।
Okay.
Are both the books by Benjamin Graham?
Yes, yes.
So one is Intelligent Investor, the other is Security Analysis.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah, I think if Siddharth is around, he's around, but he's muted.
He's muted, yeah.
Yeah. So let's close then. So Piyush, it's been quite an interesting session, and thank you very much for your time. We thoroughly enjoyed having you, and all the best. And we will stay in touch, and we will